So here we wanted to take a look at the parallels of our worlds. You know, I deal a lot with the scientific world and spiritual world, and Sarita's in the spiritual world and the scientific world, and they really do overlap. And some of the things that we notice is that the terminology is sometimes intermixed, and people may not understand what I'm saying or what she's saying because they're used to another nomenclature. So here I just want to talk about the parallels between some of the words from a scientific perspective and some of the words from more of a
spiritual perspective, Tantra perspective, because Tantra is emerging out of a framework in India where we have the Hinduism, we have Vedic thought, we have the Tantra, the roots of Tantra, and within that framework there's a certain kind of language, and in that context Tantra is actually known as a science. And I found it very interesting when I learned Tachyon, the correlation between these two streams of thought, and that actually the science of Tantra links into modern day quantum physics.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
We've been trying to merge forever, you know, and now we're just doing it with language.
Yeah.
So in quantum physics, we start off, if you look at the largest picture, with the zero-point field. Now, the zero-point field is omnipresent. It is the source of everything, and it has all potential in it for all of the creation of form. And yet it has no frequency. It is the source of all frequencies. It has no form. It is really more like the ocean in its formlessness, and it's containing everything in it. And so zero-point field we can't tap into. However, it is very, very important because it's spoken about in all ancient languages.
And in Sanskrit we would call that Brahma, and that is known as a god, the god of creation, from where everything comes and to where everything returns. So the inspiration out of which all form comes. Mm-hmm. But in its original state, it is actually formless. So this is incredible correlation between zero-point field and the term Brahma.
And then in quantum physics, the next step down from the zero-point field is the actual formation of its first form. And that form is called Tahion. Now, in the ocean kind of idea, Tahion would be a drop. And in that drop is everything that is in the formless, but now it's in form. And the Tahion particle itself is very, very interesting in the quantum world because it's a faster than light energy that theoretically has no field, no frequency, but it contains everything. And that becomes a key factor in what we're playing with. And when we look at ancient writing, it's right there.
In the ancient writings, particularly in Ayurveda, they talk about prana, the subtle breath of life that infuses all of matter with its potential to live, to regenerate, to become what it's meant to be.
Yeah, and it's the tachyons with that potential that on the scientific side we're using for all the healing and expansion and the work that we do. But in order for a faster than light subatomic particle like tachyon to function in our slower than light world, in quantum physics we need a mechanism, we need an understanding. And that understanding is called a subtle organizing energy field. SOEF, SOF. And that subtle organizing energy field is a field that is around everything, from the smallest to the largest, each one having it. And so what happens is tachyon is, when it touches that slower than light subtle organizing energy field, is converted by this consciousness of this energy field into the exact frequencies needed for the form that the SOF is holding in space and time.
And in quantum physics, they refer to that as an orbit, but an easier way to understand it is the subtle organizing energy field, as David calls it. And in the Ayurvedic map, that is called prema. It is said that around every particle of matter is a subtle field of energy, which is prema, and prema means love. So it is a love field that contains the potential for all of form to be informed with the light of the beyond.
So then in quantum physics, the energies that is converted by the subtle organizing energy field into the frequency creates perfect balance and harmony. That subtle organizing energy field is consciousness, and what it converts into is radiant health for that organ, that gland, that whole system. And by bringing it into and allowing it all the energies it needs to create radiant health, we have an opportunity to go from 0 point to the Tachyon through the form of the subtle organizing energy field and down to create radiant health and harmony within the biological system.
And what that is called in Ayurvedic terms is ojas. Ojas means joy. When we are in radiant health, our natural state is a bubbling joy, which contains also the quality of bliss and creativity. So this ojas is very important when we are talking about wellness.
Yeah. And then from that bubbling, we begin to expand and to create a larger energetic system. And in the physical quantum perspective that I have, it's creating a vertical energy system. All of nature has energy moving through it, and it recycles. And this recycling connects all of nature and connects all that we know into an integrated, interconnected lattice structure that connects us all to the same one and same oneness. So verticality is all about expanding into your oneness of connection. You can't do that without radiant health and enough energy moving through and everything flowing as we're talking about, even in the quantum perspective.
And in the perspective of Tantra and Vedic thought also, we work with Kundalini energy to awaken the chakra system and open a vertical channel that moves from sex up to the crown chakra. Why are we doing that? Because we want to open this vertical channel for the descent of grace.
Yeah.
And the descent of grace, meaning opening to a vertical flow of energy, is called Diksha, the divine blessing, the descent of grace.
So you tie all this together, verticality, all enlightened beings are vertical. Verticality doesn't mean you're enlightened, but all enlightened beings are vertical. They are interconnected with everything. And that is the whole purpose of the Tachyon and everything that we've done, and then the joining and the marriage or union of Tachyon and or science and spirituality. It is all about how do we bring that grace down and bring it into our lives, but not having to take 20 or 30 years to do this, but do it now. Bring that in and have that energy available now. And when we can do that, that shifts the time continuum concept of how long does it take. Well, the fact is it's right now that this can happen. And that's why the tools are here.
And when we want to live in a state of grace and abundance, we need to open our energetic system so that this energy of Diksha can be grounded in us and live through us. It doesn't really matter what terms we use.
Right.
The effect is what is very important. And what the ancients were trying to achieve through Tantra practices, meditation, etc., we can now achieve also through Tachyon. And this is a great blessing to individuals and for the planetary consciousness.
Yeah, the merging of science and spirituality is here. It doesn't matter if you call it Tachyon, Prana, Chi, Ki, whatever it is, they're all talking about the same thing. And through this technology, we're actually able to expand and bring that in. And through the union of our intentions and our tools,
the sky is the limit.
or the heavens.